Hello, everybody. Welcome to part 2 of Nothing is Missing, Models, Athletes, and Artists. We're going to jump right in because we have a lot of images to show you. Just quickly, part 2 is mostly featuring the exhibition at Queens College that was actually a student-ran exhibition that accompanied the documentary part 1 of Nothing is Missing, Models, Athletes, and Artists. So we want to show you some photos here. On closing night, Wesley Allen, who was also our photographer, one of our photographers, spoke, gave a very effective speech. So did Matthew Lynch. And I love this, free food. I wanted to throw that in there just simply because students are students. And whenever you put free food out there, they show up. It made me feel like I was a college student all over again. Additionally, I do want to thank our colleagues at the School of Professional Studies because we had a very successful screening of part 1 at the School of Professional Studies, kicking off Disability Awareness Month. Now, the documentary, part 1, was great, but not everything came together as we planned. For example, look at this clip here. It was me, no one showed up. We were running behind, and I gave a quick introduction. We tried to make it seem like it was behind the scenes, when in fact it really wasn't. And then you see in contrast, when Rudy showed up for his interview, he was a natural in front of the camera, and he became the host for that evening. So check this out. Changes, ladders, techs all around, but we're waiting for our guest to show up. So as it is, we're going to introduce our first model, athlete, and artist. It was a pleasure. So as you see, we just kind of had to play along with things, putting together part 1. And that's why we're putting together part 2, because we also had L'Impossible involved with the photo, featured in the photo exhibition, as well as some of the amazing illustrations by David Baller, who we will speak about in a few minutes. But I do want to show these photos of some of the L'Impossible players. Now, as things came together, it actually was amazing. I would show up at Queens College, and as you see there, the photos would be lining the walls. Everything would be in somewhat a disarray, but yet I would go back in 2-3 weeks, and things would be up and running and coming together, as you can see there with Wesley in front of the photos of L'Impossible. But let's take a few minutes and look at these great photos actually taken by Wesley, a very talented photographer and also a Queens College student. Wow, great photographs. Now, I want to introduce an interview we did with the Committee for Students with Disabilities at Queens College with Tamara Morgan, who was one of our co-hosts, Wesley Allen, who was our photographer, as well as a student at Queens College, and 3 other students from Queens College who were highly involved with this project: Alex Kovalov, Neil Porowith, and Maxim Makinyetsky.
With this, with Nothing is Missing, one thing that I think we've all wanted to bring and portray was positive representation of people with disabilities. So what does that positive representation mean to you, and how does it manifest itself in media?
For me, positive representation is representation that looks at someone with disability as a whole person, where they're not boiled down to this one aspect of their life or their day-to-day movements, and they're really portrayed as whole people. So my favorite part of Nothing is Missing is just showing the activity and the lives of the individuals that were photographed in such a honest and human way.
I believe what positive media means to me really is, getting to as much of an audience, like a big audience as possible, and relatability. So like, for example, Matthew, who was being photographed, he was like, say, he was in a gym and he was doing something that a lot of people do, in general. And, it's that kind of like relatability that really kind of makes it stand out into people's minds. So I think that's what really positive media reinforcement is.
How do you all like the portrayal of students with disabilities in college in film and movies?
I think movies in general are a bit of a difficult media to work in because you always need to reduce a character to fit into a time constraint. And that's actually maybe why I'm thinking more about how television handles it, because with a television series you have so much more time to flesh out a character. And I think that's what's important about portraying people with disabilities.
So guys, I know that you all were curators, really involved in the photo exhibition, Nothing is Missing. And I want to know, from your points of view, did you feel like it was a positive representation of people with disabilities? How did you really feel about it?
I think it was great.
Question.
Oh yeah, quite. But I think it was great. I think we've had the exhibition for like a month, pretty much, and we got so much exposure. So many people came by and just really had a great time, I think. It was great. I remember it was on the night of the opening, having people speak. Was it on the night or was it the last? Yeah, it was on the night. It was having
both times.
Both times. It was having people speak, especially like Matthew, the models who were in the photographs. Just, it was really inspirational for personally, I think, and it was just great. So that's how I feel about it.
Anyone else want to chime in?
Yeah, I think it was an excellent portrayal because it was at the same time authentic and inspiring. So these were real people doing regular things that they regularly do, but they also seemed larger than life. And I think that's great. And a lot of the positive response that we got boiled down to, oh, this isn't a portrayal that like people with disabilities like need, sympathy or anything like that. It's like, no, you have this. And yeah, that's why I think it was great.
Yeah, I think it was wonderful as well. And that is also my favorite part of this, that a lot of people I spoke to said that it really challenged their internalized idea of a person with a disability. And seeing such strong positive representation of these capable, successful figures was really important.
So I really did enjoy getting to meet those students, all of which are very special, hardworking, and will do amazing things within their careers. And as you can see, they also have fun, as well as they should. They're college students, right? So listen, for our final feature of part 2, Nothing is Missing, Models, Athletes, and Artists, actually is the artist, David Baller. He is the illustration artist behind Bionic Man. And he was very, very generous in sending us some photos, illustrations of Bionic Man. Now, Bionic Man is a superhero from Switzerland who actually is also an amputee. And as we know, Nothing is Missing, Models, Athletes, and Artists features amputees. So we were very excited and very, very thankful that David Baller, this extremely talented artist, illustration artist, would send us some of his illustrations. Okay, everybody, that's it. That's a wrap. Final statement. Congratulations, Neil. You did it, buddy. You graduated. All the best. Take care.